Do you wish someone would get on screen and tell you all the titles, all the games releasing in 2023? Some you might not give a shit about, some you've been looking forward to for years. The time is now. The place is... Let me share my screen. Here's every game releasing in 2023. Now, keep in mind, this is subject to change as these games are constantly getting postponed, delayed. Now, this article will be linked in the description below, as I do anytime I cover any news in the gaming community or industry, in case you want to read this list in its entirety, as I am going to breeze over some of these titles. Not that I don't care about them, but a lot of these are just smaller, maybe indie titles. A lot of my viewership, my audience, and myself included, might not personally have interest in, but that's why the article is linked in the description below. I know, gross. Now, this article is from Kotaku. I do like that the journalist over here broke it out by month. It does stop around June or July, and then it will go into TBD or to be determined down here, as these are very fluid releases. They don't really have a solid release, not even a quarter or season. A lot of these, they're just saying, hey, 2023 is what we're aiming for. But starting in July, we've got Dragon Ball, One Piece, Persona, Fire Emblem, and of course, Dead Space, which is the title that I am personally very excited for. Now, we did get Callisto Protocol recently, which is kind of a spiritual successor, very similar, because it was one of the developers from Dead Space that broke off into that project. It's not the full regalia or the full beans of the Dead Space experience that we want. That's we're going to get that January 27th. Hogwarts Legacy, I've actually been very excited about this title. I have covered news leading up to it, some positive, some negative, obviously, with J.K. Rowling's negative public image and all that good stuff, but the game itself does look very promising, especially if you're a Harry Potter fan and you're looking for a open world experience. Atomic Heart, this is somewhat of a spiritual successor to BioShock. At least that's what it looks like to me from all the trailers. You do have some kind of abilities or powers in combination with your guns, your firearms, and it does have that bleak, dreary, post-apocalyptic theme that you get from BioShock, although you're not in an underwater city or in the clouds or anything like that. Horizon Call of the Mountain is the one title that I am very excited about for PSVR 2, which I did already pre-order. It was extremely expensive, hurt the bank book a bit. It was more expensive than the actual console, but this should be a great experience. I'm a big fan of Horizon 1 and 2, so I'm assuming that a VR experience would be a nipple-twisting good time. Resident Evil Village, which I have not played at all, so my first experience will be with a goggle strapped to my head, playing it in PSVR 2. Excited about that title as well. Destiny 2, I've taken a little break, but I'd like to jump back into it, and maybe Lightfall will be the opportunity for me to do that, February 28th. Coming over here to March, The Last of Us Part 1 is going to be launching on PC. I did play through that game and review it for PS5, and it was an outstanding title in my opinion. Granted, there was a lot of conversation or sidebars amongst the gaming community about should this remake even be made. The game isn't even that old. It was already remade once on the PS4, from the PS3 to the PS4. It's already been remade once. Does it need to exist? Blah, blah, blah. In my opinion, shit, I liked it. I enjoyed the game. There it is. Anything with Star Wars in the name, I will give a taste. And Resident Evil 4, which is a title that's been reported, remastered, and retwisted so many times, is going to be released the 24th on PS5, Series, and PC. Again, in April, Horizon Forbidden West is getting its first and only DLC, Burning Shores. And Dead Island 2, I have mixed reactions, or I guess I should say mixed expectations about this game. I did enjoy the first Dead Island, but it wasn't really game-changing. It wasn't revolutionary, and I think it did a lot of things wrong, unfortunately. To play devil's advocate or flip the token on its tookus, it also was a zombie slashing good time. It was mostly melee combat. There was like a big lack of guns. You had to get up and close and beat the shit out of them. It's too much energy. You're burning too many calories swinging, throwing my shoulder out of whack and stuff. I'd prefer to just sit back and clap cheeks with a gun. The trailers did look exciting, but it did look almost identical to Dead Island 1 in gameplay and graphics and everything. It didn't look like there was any major progression between the first and second title, which is surprising because there's like years separating them, but we'll have to see. This is probably going to be one of the biggest launches of the year, obviously, and that is going to be the next Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, which for the longest time we were referring to as Breath of the Wild 2 because, well, that's what we knew it as, but it has been officially announced that it has Tears of the Kingdom. June is a big, thick, girthy month. We have Street Fighter 6, we've got Diablo 4, we've got Final Fantasy 16. I was testing myself with the Roman numerals there, and I did okay, I think. These are all major titles. When I say major, there's a lot of anticipation. They're also quarterbacked and backed up by huge AAA studios. These are going to be, you know, talked about. Alan Wake 2, I just uploaded a short, one of them short form vertical videos you kids like, about Alan Wake 2, everything we know thus far, which isn't a whole hell of a lot. Arc 2, which we do know is going to be hosted or starred in by Vin Diesel. He's going to be the main character, if you will. Armored Core, anything that involves kind of mechanoid suits like Gundam or Zoids is really cool. Armored Core, I grew up with that on the PlayStation 1 and 2, and Fires of Rubicon is going to be near and dear to my rear as well. Assassin's Creed is very, very hit and miss with their titles, and that is because they pass it off between Ubisoft Montreal as well as other studios. So just like the Call of Duty franchise, how the QC can be very hit and miss because the franchise is shared amongst multiple studios. Hit and miss series, in my opinion, when it comes to bangers and shitters. Avatar, please don't fuck this away because there's potential to be an awesome game. I think James Cameron did a hell of a job with the movies, and I'd like to see these games not be butchered because I do think an Avatar game could be sick. Baldur's Gate, iconic series. The third one's coming to PC. There's been a lot of talk about this game thus far. The first and only full-on DLC or expansion pack that we're going to be getting for CP77, Phantom Liberty, is coming to the new gen, well, really current gen consoles as well as PC. Pedestrian Simulator 2, lace your boots up tight and get ready to get shin splints. Death Stranding 2 coming to PS5 and PS5 only? Interesting. Get ready to chew that umbilical cord and put the placenta on ice because we've got Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. That was disgusting. Forza Motorsports. This is actually what's truly disgusting. When game franchises do a reboot or a reinvention, a relaunch, but they use the title from the first game, it is incredibly confusing. Like now we've had Call of Duty Modern Warfare and Modern Warfare 2. Twice for each of these titles. Call it something else. It is not the game from 10, 15 years ago. It's its own beast, usually a whacker beast. So instead of calling it Forza Motorsports, which we've had since the Civil War, maybe call it like Forza Motorsports 9 or 10 in numerical order, whatever the next one is, which I know Microsoft definitely has a problem with because their naming convention with the consoles is crazy too. Last gen's console was called the Xbox One, which is also their first console, the Xbox original. And then they did a spin in there somewhere with a 360, but then the next console wasn't called the 720. But then there's confusion for parents because there's the 1S and 1X, but also the Series S and X, and they're sitting next to each other on the shelves. Gotta love what Sony does. Just keep it in numerical order. Side tangent there, but wow. Calling Forza Motorsports, that's confusing to everyone. Layers of Fear, I don't really know why this one's highlighted, but I've heard the name several times. Maybe I thought it deserved some ink on it. If you are a PS5 owner, there is no doubt in the back of my mind that you're going to be picking up Spider-Man 2. Stalker Heart of Chernobyl actually looks quite promising. Thus far, it's looked really good. I don't really think a game has had quite as much anticipation or hype, at least on the Xbox side of the house, as Starfield, as it is a Bethesda title that is now going to be exclusive to the Game Pass ecosystem. So Xbox Series S and X consoles and PC. Notice Xbox One is not on here because that console will melt into dust trying to push this title. I can't really think of a fighting series other than Mortal Kombat and Dead or Alive that really is near and dear to my rear, quite as close as Tekken. I grew up on Tekken on the PS1 and flicking the sticks in arcades, and I love to see that number continue to grow and new generations to continue to beat the brakes off each other with Tekken. And Tron, I just watched the movie the other day. There's a lot of neon lights. It was a very cornea popping experience, and the game could be pretty cool as well, but it's only going to be on PC, so build a rig now. Drop in the comment section below what titles you are excited for in 2023, and keep in mind this list isn't really all-inclusive. It is as of now, but these games are constantly fluctuating to the right and occasionally the left. I can't really remember the last time a game was released early. Generally, they're delayed or canceled or whatever. I'll see you Stallions and Stallionettes tomorrow. If you enjoyed the video, liking it helps it to get seen by more gamers. This information will reach and assist them as well, which in turn helps me grow this little channel, which I do greatly appreciate. Subscribe for more content like this. I cover news in the gaming community and industry, tutorials helping you get set up streaming and YouTubing, as well as honest gaming product reviews, keyboards, mice, headsets, controllers, mics, chairs, etc. There are some hefty exclusive discount codes found only in the description of my videos and only for the audience here at Gamer Heaven. I have links to all my other platforms and socials in the description below. To get in touch with myself and the Stallions and Stallionettes of Gamer Heaven, join the community Discord and check me out at twitch.tv where I go live every other leap year on a blue moon if it falls into an odd calendar number and my pH balance is on point. Just kidding. Starting June, I'm going to be live streaming a lot. Thanks for watching. This has been AK40 Kevin hosting Gamer Heaven, and I'll see you tomorrow because I upload daily. All the time. 60% of the time. Sometimes. Most of the time. Peace.